Have you ever experienced the feeling of being overwhelmed by the number of responsibilities and tasks in your hand? Have you felt that you have a vision or goal for your future, but you are not able to work on it because the lack of time? Or you have felt that there is simply too much on your plate which you are not able to finish on a daily basis, and at the end you feel exhausted and tired because you do not get enough time to finish them. If that is the case, this episode is for you. In this episode, we are going to discuss about time management, the simplest way that you can manage your time. So stay tuned to the very end because there is a lot to learn. Hello everyone, my name is Akshay Tiwari. I am a holistic happiness coach, founder of Holistic Happiness Club, author of Usher, and without further delay, let's dive into the topic. Alright, so let's begin today's topic. But before we go ahead, let me make this very clear that the simplest time management method, which kind of I have developed through different sources, and this has worked for me. But this is a very high level overview of time management. There is not going to be much of granular or technical detail, but this is a high level overview. But if you understand this concept clearly, then this will simplify a lot of things for you, right? This has simplified a lot of things for me. This has worked well for me, and I believe that this will help you as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand the first thing. What is time management and why do we need to manage time? All right, so simply put, time management is to to categorize the task that you are doing in different categories and assigning a time for those tasks to be done at a particular time in the day or week. Right? So that is simply the time management. And why do we need to manage time? The reason that we need to manage time is because the number of tasks and responsibilities that we have in our hand are unlimited. We have business, we have job, we have family, we have friends, and we have social commitments. We have so many things that we are having in our hand. And alongside all of those things, we have our long-term vision and goal in our head. So we have unlimited number of tasks in our hand, but how much time we have, it is limited. Daily we get 24 hours. So we need to optimize the use of time so that we can focus on the important things, and at the same time we have some time to enjoy as well, right? Okay, so that's the need of time management. It was simple, right? And let's move forward. How to manage time. So here I will list down the method of uh, managing time. So what you need to do is list down all the tasks that you do on a daily basis and weekly basis and monthly basis. So here is the thing. Here, so many people make mistake. I used to make this mistake a lot. That when we start managing, when we think about managing the time, the first thing we do is we make a list of our daily tasks, right? And according to our daily task, we uh, create a timetable for us. But the thing is, the reality is, there are tasks that we do on a daily basis, but there are things that we do on a weekly basis. There are things that we do on a monthly basis. For example, grocery shopping. For example, shopping for our clothes or maybe something else. And for example, doing laundry. For example, cleaning or dusting of our house. For example, so many other things, right? You got the point. So there are tasks that we do on a weekly basis, then there are tasks that we do on a monthly basis, like paying our bills or something. No matter how insignificant they feel, they take a lot of time on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, right? So if they are not in our time schedule, chances are that we are going to fail, or we will not be able to follow our time schedule, right? So it is important that you list down all the daily and weekly and monthly tasks, right? Once you have listed them down, then reflect upon the list. What do you need to reflect upon? So you need to read out all the tasks and see how many of them are necessary, how many of them are not necessary, how many of them are adding value to your life, Okay, and how many of them are simply killing your time? For example, if you are scrolling social media post maybe for 15 minutes, maybe it is adding value to your life because you are learning something or maybe you are getting entertained. That's all right. But if you are scrolling social media posts for maybe 4 hours, maybe that means it is killing your time. So it is up to you. It is up to you. You need to decide whether this task is important for you or not, right? So that's how you need to reflect upon the list and then categorize them. Categorizing them can be done using the Eisenhower matrix. So imagine that there are two axes. Vertical axis is of the axis of importance, and the horizontal axis is of the axis of urgency. So there can be four type of tasks like important and urgent, important and not urgent, not important but urgent, not important and not urgent, right? So the idea, once you categorize them, so examples of those tasks can be important and urgent tasks can be if your boss has told you something that you need to do this, then it is important and urgent also. And if you are a business owner, maybe you need to finish something for your client. Right. So this is important plus urgent. I mean, you cannot do about these kind of tasks. You cannot do anything. You have to do them. Then there will be tasks which are important but not urgent. They are not demanding your immediate attention, like planning for future and exercising, doing something for your health. See, these are not urgent tasks. If you do not go to gym or you do not go for a run just for one day, nothing will happen. Apparently, nothing will happen. These are not urgent. These are important tasks. They help you be in the game, and they help you build the long-term future. So they are very, very important. Right? So then there are not important tasks, but urgent tasks. Ringing phone. It might not be important, but you have to attend it, whether you answer it or disconnect the call, but you have to attend it. You have to see whether it's important or not. You have to attend it. So it's not important, but it is urgent. Somebody is ringing the doorbell. It might not be important, but it's urgent. You need to answer the door, right? So these kind of tasks are there which are urgent but not important. Then there are some tasks which are not important, not urgent as well. Maybe a vacation, maybe a holiday, maybe social media, maybe video games, and all those things, right? So you need to categorize your task in these categories. And then you need to decide and you need to see what all the tasks that you can minimize. By minimize, I am saying that you need not to do it, but you are doing it. But once you find out that these are the tasks that can be cut out, then you find out the tasks that can be delegated or automated. There are a few things that can be automated as well using the technology if you are in such fields, right? So try to whether to delegate them or automate them so that it can save your time. And if you cannot delete the task, if you cannot delegate the task, if you cannot automate the task, then only you need to pick up that task. You need to do that task. All right. So that's kind of reflecting upon the task and categorizing them. Simplification meaning you need to decide whether you are going to do it, whether you are not going to do it, how you are going to do it, and when you are going to do it. Right. So that's what you need to, that's how you create a time schedule for yourself. Okay. Now there are a few other nuances. So this was a simple formula that lists down the task and see which one you can delete and delegate and automate and which one you need to do and when you need to do it. That's it, right? But there are few other nuances that I want to discuss here.
So the important thing that you need to keep in mind, there are two actually important things that you need to keep in mind. First thing, which has worked for me time and again, is that instead of creating a daily plan, you need to create a weekly plan. The reason for that is that creating a weekly plan, first of all, it takes care of your weekly chores as well, which are more frequent, right, compared to monthly and yearly chores. And it also takes care of your daily chores because you are taking care of that when you are creating a a weekly plan, right? So it creates a room for weekly chores, number one. And at the same time, it creates a room for failing if you are failing on one particular day, right? This will not give you the feeling that you have failed your plan. So if you have created a daily plan, so let's say on Monday there's something unexpected has come up from office or from someone else, or maybe some birthday party has come up, right? So then that day's plan is screwed up, right? But if it is a weekly plan, you still have 5 more days to cover up for that. So maybe one day you are not feeling that great, you are not at your 100%. It's okay. You give the best you can on that day, and whatever you are not able to finish on that day, you can still use the time which is there on the rest of the week, right? So that is why it is important to create your weekly plan, or I should say that create your plan on a weekly basis, because that gives you more room to play, that gives you more room to be vulnerable, that gives you room to make mistakes. Also, daily plans, to me at least, it looks like they are like they will they will burn me out, because on a daily basis I'm going on a schedule that is very tight, right? But on a weekly, when there is a weekly plan, you can afford a day of being a little lazy, right? Because if you have worked hard on 6 days, you can earn yourself one day. So that's why weekly plan, according to me, are more effective than daily plans. All right. And the second thing that you need to keep in mind is that along with the list that you are creating for the task, you need to create one more list of the daily chores. All right. It will include the things like your daily chores and weekly chores. It will include the things like your eating time, your sleeping time, your getting time for getting ready, and time for doing laundry. Things that are absolutely necessary that you have to do, and they might not look productive. All right. So these kind of things list down and see how much time they are taking from your daily or weekly schedule. And once you have find out that this much time is going on my daily unavoidable chores, you cut that time out from the daily schedule or the weekly schedule. Whatever time is left, so you might think that this is the time when I should be productive. Cut down extra 20%. Don't do anything in that 20%. Only plan for 80%. Leave that 20% extra. Why? The reason is, again, if you falter, if you are not having a great day, you can utilize that extra 20% time. If something comes up which is unexpected, and if it is not a big deal, that extra 20% can take care of that. Maybe you have not analyzed some particular task very well. It has taken some more time. Still, your plan will be intact because you will be utilizing from 20%. And if nothing goes wrong, everything goes as planned, everything you finish everything within the time frame that you have decided, then use that 20% for play. Yeah, use that 20% as your me time. Do whatever you want to do with that time. Spend that time with your loved ones. Spend that time with your family, right? So that these are two very important things that you need to keep in mind. Many times I have done this mistake that I created a time schedule that was on a daily basis, and that did not work out because at the end of the day it was leaving me burnt out, and it I could not go on with the daily schedule for a very long time. Whereas weekly schedule gives me the the leisure, or you can say weekly schedule, gives me the power or allow me to be make mistakes and be vulnerable, try to experiment something, all right, so that I can do mistakes, but still I can be on time, be on time schedule, right? So weekly schedules are powerful. At the same time, the second important thing is that you need to plan only for 80% of your capacity. 20% you need to leave it out for unforeseen things. Okay, that leads me to another important thing, planning for the unseen, right? So there are so many things that we cannot predict. Life is very unpredictable. We are surrounded by people. So to some extent we can see for ourselves that okay, I will do this, I will do that, I will do this, I will do that. But we cannot take any guarantee for any other person that we are surrounded with, our boss or maybe our client. Okay. If you're a business owner, maybe your employees, your family members, your kids, your parents, your friends, you cannot take any guarantee. Maybe they will plan something for you. Maybe they are throwing a party, and because we are a social person, we need to go there. We need to spend some time, and we should spend some time with our friends and family to whom we consider that they are close with us. All right. So these unforeseen things come up all the time. Life is very unpredictable. So that one thing you need to do is that you need to keep that 20% time aside to accommodate these unforeseen things. But what will happen is sometime that 20% time is also not enough, and it's okay. At that time, plan will fail. Maybe just for 1 week. Maybe next week you will be able to cover it. That's fine. Maybe something will come for a long term. That time your whole time schedule will be screwed. You need to create a new one. That's also all right, because life is unpredictable and we have to accept that fact. All right, let's move to the next one, which is what to do when plan fails. As I just said, life is very unpredictable. Plan can fail. Right? So what to do? So first thing that we need to understand is chances of the plan getting failed is higher than chances of the plan getting succeeded. So now you can ask me a question that if the plan is going to fail, then why to plan it the first place? All right, so it's a good question with a even better answer. It is because when you plan, when you create a time schedule, when you prioritize your task, when you categorize your task, you get to know what is in your hand, what is in your plate, how many things you need to accomplish. Plus, also you get to know how you need to accomplish. Maybe you can delegate it, maybe you can automate it, maybe you have to do it yourself, or maybe you can delete it altogether. You can, I mean, you can choose that I'm not going to do it altogether. All right, so that gives you the power to categorize. Also, it gives you the knowledge about your resources, how much time you have, how much money you have, how many people you have in your support. All these things can be mapped out in the beginning. So when you meet with an unexpected situation which is going to disrupt your plan, because you have this superior or clear knowledge about the resources in hand and about the tasks in hand, you can immediately come up with a plan B, right? And at least you can maneuver those unpredictable changes if you have that kind of knowledge in your hand. So if you're not planning, you will not have that kind of knowledge in your hand. So that's the number one reason that you should plan, right? Plans fail all the time, whether it is individual plans, whether it is organizational plan, corporates plan, plans fail all the time. It does not mean that you should stop planning. It does not mean that you are a failure. Obviously, there are things that we cannot see. Future is very unpredictable, and because of that, plan will fail. That's all right. That's the first thing we need to understand, that plan will fail. And as I just has described it, why you still need to plan. Okay, so you have planned, because of some unforeseen circumstances, plan has failed. Now what to do? Now you need to introspect why the plan has failed. Was there anything that you have not analyzed well? Was there any factor that you have not taken into account? Was there any resources that you have not taken into account? Was there anything that you could have done better? Was there anything that you could have leveraged to still stick to the plan? So all those things that you need to ask yourself, and you need to introspect your plan. Is there any scope of improvement? If there is any scope for improvement, you do accommodate that scope, you improve your plan and you move forward. If I tell about myself, sometimes back, like a year back or something, I was I made many plans, and many of them has failed. One of the plan has worked. It worked for certain period of times, maybe I think 6 or 7 months. It worked, but after that, it failed again. And the reason for that, because once your plan starts working for you, once you start seeing that your plan is working, you might get hopeful that with this plan I can move forward, right? But the thing is that eventually that will also fail. Even if some nothing unexpected is coming up, your priorities will change. People's priority will change. Maybe the business's priority will change. Organization in which you are working, that will change its priority. So because of all those changes, change is the only constant. Because of all those changes, you need to update your plan. And this is also one of the reasons that your existing plan will fail, right? So there is nothing to be worried about if your plan is failing. You just have to learn and update it. The worst thing that you can do if the plan is failed, it is that you can think that since the planning is not working, I'm not going to plan, right? This will be the disaster, because this will take away most of the benefits of planning. The benefit of planning is not that it will take you skyrocket to success. No, it will. The biggest benefit of planning, as I told you, is to get the clarity. Of course, it will lead to success, right? But the biggest thing is that you will have the clarity in your hand that what you need to do and how. All right. Oh, okay. So before I end this, I want to tell what my manager used to say with me, that if you are not, if you're failing to plan, you are planning to fail. I'll repeat it. If you're failing to plan, you're planning to fail. It is that important. Plan might not directly lead you to success, but indirectly it contributes a lot in your success. All right. So with that, I come to the end of this topic of time management. So I just gave you a very simple, raw, high-level overview of time management, the way I manage my time schedule. Most of them fails, some of them works, but this is what I do in my life. If there is anything that you can tell me to improve upon, I will be very glad to hear that. And I would also like to know that there was anything that you have learned from this episode. I would like to know that. Please let me know in the comment below if you have liked the information that I have shared. If you think that it can be helpful for someone, you can share this episode, share this video with uh, your friends and family. If this content is valuable, if you think that this valuable content is valuable, please like the video, please like this episode, and please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a rating if you are hearing this on a broadcast platform where you can leave a rating. That will I will be very grateful for that. That will help me boost my content. All right. So with that, I come to the end of this topic. But before I end this episode, I have an announcement to make. Holistic Happiness Club has already launched our membership plans. So the first level of joining Holistic Happiness Stay blessed, stay happy, and always remember happiness is a lifestyle.